All right, we're going to first take a look at Spark AR Studio as it stands in October of 2021. You see the version here, 124. Wow, there's a lot of versions. And you'll first have to log in with your Facebook account, right? Because Facebook, Spark, Instagram, Facebook, they're all one company, right? And they put this out, and this is a free program that you can put on any computer, even if you want to put it on your own. Now, maybe you've played with some of these effects in Instagram where, right, you go on, you'll put a little face mask on or do something with attach someone to something, right? So a lot of this is set up for that kind of that fun social stuff. But we're going to hack it a little bit to be a little more journalistic with it. And so these will likely not be completely useful for us. Obviously, you could always play with these if you wanted to, but we're going to basically put a world object in where we'll put annotations, but you should know there's some flavor. So right here you see that it's called templates, right? Because it'll set up the file with some certain things in them for different effects, right? So this, I'm just going to point out some of the key ones here. So 3D animated poster, right? This is a marker-based one where if you started a project, you would replace the poster here, and it would kind of, you know, try to figure out, like, if you pointed it at that poster, then the effect would come up, the poster in the real world, right? World object, which is pretty much what we're going to do, but we're going to set it up by ourselves, just placing an object in the world, giving it some effects. There's this object reveal, so the world object animates in, nothing fancy there. This one's really interesting, right? Because you see this has a picker down at the bottom, so you can actually toggle between scenes. And this is something you might find really useful. We're not going to do that in ours. We're just going to use a simple case of it, but you could basically take what we make here and do it within here and be able to toggle through different scenes. And then there's the real scale world object, and this is good for when you want to make sure you're putting things in the world around it in the correct scale, at the distance, and things like that. And I think that would be a really key thing to do, but we're not going to go there. We're actually going to go ahead and just start with a blank new object. A new project, because I wanted to show you how things really work. Now, again, these are just like basically, you know, just another form of these templates, but just like a step down, right? Where we can figure out, like, this would be an anchored experience, right? Targets, so marker based and target based tracking. Plane tracking is where we want to know where the floor is so that the object can be placed on the floor. And we're going to actually do this, but I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. And face tracking, obviously, right? Targeting the face and things, right? So I'm going to start with a blank project here and just kind of show you what we have inside Spark AR. And let me make this bigger. And so when you set up here, you'll see that we have, just by default, even in a blank scene, we have this would be the phone device, right? And kind of what it's looking at. Here is a kind of a preview that we can play with in different contexts, and so you could change to what phone you're using, or even iPad, different things, right? We can just leave it on that. We'll see over here, you know, just like in any 3D scene, right? We have a camera, which is our camera here, which is part of the device. We're like the phone is kind of measuring the distance. We have an ambient light here, which will, you know, kind of, again, we've learned from Unity, setting up the intensity of that light. We have a directional light that we can move around and change its qualities and directions and things like that, which we have our tools right here. So if I needed to rotate my light and make it sideways, more sideways here like that, I don't want to screw anything up, so I'm just going to leave the scene like this. Right, scale, which would not really, these two won't matter for light, but for our objects, right, moving them and scaling would matter. Really, only rotation works on the directional light. We have a microphone here. We're not going to use the microphone, so we could just get rid of it. I'll just leave it there just for the heck of it. Besides that, you'll see there'll be all different things that will come into play over here. We have, this is our inspector area, right, where depending on what we have selected, you know, that goes there. We have a way to publish it, but really we have a way to send it up to our phones over here. So that's the basics, what you need to know right now of starting up Spark AR.